Parashat Vaera, we study Parashat Vaera, Bezrat Hashem. Usually we talk about the semichot of the parashiyot, but the parasha of last week, Torah says that with the strong hand, I will chase them out. Now it says chase them out, and then it says Hashem spoke to Moshe. Now Mefarshim say, from here you see that where did Hashem speak to Moshe? He didn't speak to Mitzrayim, because Mitzrayim was full of idols. He spoke out of Mitzrayim. Okay, we start the parasha. Hashem spoke to Moshe and he told him, Ani Hashem, I'm Hashem. Last week parasha, Moshe Rabbeinu said, Lama hareota la'amazeh, why do you do bad to this nation? From the time that I came, you didn't save them, and it became worse for them. Now Hashem says, Ani Hashem. There are two words that answers everybody's problem in the future. Now they were just like my brothers, they had many questions that why did Hashem do to them? And Yosef said, Ani Yosef, and the greatest reader of their life was resolved. Here also, HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the future says, Ani Hashem, and that solves all of the problems. Rashi says, V'adaber Elokim el Moshe, Diberito mishpat al she'ish lo yedaber. In Torah, we don't have such expression, V'adaber Elokim el Moshe. Usually we have V'adaber Hashem or Vayomer Elokim. Here, V'adaber is kashe, Elokim is kashe. Therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu was talking harsh to Moshe. Because he said, Yom Elab Ani Hashem, told him, I'm God. I'm trustworthy to give reward to those going in front of me. I didn't send you lechinam, ki im leqayem devarai shedibarti le'avod arishonim. I send you to be mekayem my word that I promised the avod rishonim. And such a lashon we find that would be explained in different places. Ani Hashem ne'eman, I'm trustworthy. Le'ipari akeshu omer etzel ononesh, kion v'charto Hashem rekecha. Ani Hashem, ushu omer etzel qiyom mitzvot kikon, ushmartem mitzvotai v'shmartem otam. Ani Hashem ne'eman l'shalem sachar. Therefore, Ani Hashem ne'eman l'shalem sachar. Therefore, you are saying that lama haroto ala amazeh, why do you do bad to this nation? But you should know that I'm ne'eman l'shalem sachar. I'm going to reward the nation a good reward. Vaera el Avraham el Yitzhak Yaakov el Shaddai. Ushmi Hashem nodati lahem. I appeared to Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov in the name of Shakai. The name of Shakai, Ushmi Hashem, but the name of Hashem lo nodati lahem. I didn't introduce to them. I didn't identify myself with the name of Hashem. No, what's HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying? Vaera, Rashi, El Ha'avod, I appear to Avod, Bekir Shakai, in the name of Shakai. No, what does it mean, Shakai? The Gemara says that every name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu indicates some type of conduct of Hashem. Now, Kil Shakai is the conduct that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hiftachtem, Haftachodu, Bekulan, Amarti Lahem, Ani Kil Shakai. I promised them, and all of the promises that he gave to Avod, he said that I'm Kil Shakai. Because Kil Shakai is the one who said the Olam to be died. In other words, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu created the world was extending more and more and more, and to a point, Shakai says enough. Now, it's the name that is capable of handling the world, and it promises, but not necessarily keeps the promise. Because Yod Kevavke is the one who promises and keeps it. Hashem lo dati lahem. Lo dati en ketiv kan. Illa lo dati. He doesn't say, I didn't let them know. Because HaKadosh Baruch Hu spoke to Moshe with Yod Kevavke. They knew about Yod Kevavke. But Yod Kevavke wasn't identified to them. What does that mean it wasn't identified? Because the Hanhaga, the conduct was not the conduct of Yod Kevavke. Lo nikarti lahem b'midat amitut sheli, she'ala nigra shemi Hashem. I didn't identify myself with midat sheli, she'ala nigra shemi Hashem. Ne'eman la'amed devarai. Yod Kevavke is the name of HaKadosh Baruch Hu that keeps the promises. He gives promises and keeps the promises, and he does it. Because Avod, I promised them, but I didn't keep the promise. That is the attitude and hag of Kir Shakai. But Shem Hashem, I didn't reveal to them, I didn't identify myself with Shem Hashem to them. וגם הגמותי את בריתי, and also I established my covenant, itam with them, לתת להם, to give to them, Eretz Canaan, the land of Canaan, Eretz Megurehem, the land that they dwelled, Asher garu ba, that they settled in it. וגם אני שמעתי נאקת בני ישראל, and also I heard the outcrying of Kahal Israel, Asher Mitzrayim ma'avidim otam, that the Egyptians enslaved them, ואזכור את בריתי, and I remember my covenant. לכן, therefore, אמור לבני ישראל, tell Israel, אני השם, I'm the God, I'm Hashem, והוצאתי אתכם מתחת סבלות מצרים. I will take you out from the burden of the מצרים. והצלתי אתכם, and I will rescue you from עבודתם, from the slavery. וגאלתי אתכם, and I redeem you בזרוע נטויה, with an arm outstretched, ובשפטים גדולים, and with the great judgment. ולקחתי אתכם לי לעם, and I will take you as a nation, והייתי לכם אלוהים, and I will be God for you. ודעתם, you should know, כי אני השם אלוקיכם, I'm the God, המוציא אתכם מתחת סבלות מצרים, that I took you out of מצרים. This is HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying that I came to Avod, and I promised them that I give them land. Therefore, I want to keep my promise, and I heard outcrying of Gal Israel. Therefore, go and tell Gal Israel, this is 4 leshonot of Geula. 4 leshonot that Pesach, 4 cups of Geula, or the Sachem of Israel, and Hashem was sitting on the Mitzrayim. It's very interesting that if you look at the Parashat Lech Lecha, let's go to Parashat Lech Lecha, you see what Hashem says to Avraham. Now HaKadosh Baruch is undoing whatever that he told Avraham at that time. Hashem says to Avraham, let's go chapter Tetvav, Sefer Bereshit, chapter Tetvav, chapter 15, Pasuk Yud Gimel, Pasuk 13. Chapter Tetvav, 15, Pasuk 13. Vayomer Abraham, Hashem told Abraham, Yadu Ateda, you should know. Now, what is the decree of going to Mitzrayim? There were 3 processes. Kigeri Zaracha Beres Olahem. First, Hashem said that they're going to be stranger in the land that doesn't belong to them. Now, they are not going to be in the homeland. They're going to be in different land. That's one. Abadum, no, you're going to be in a strange land, but you could be you could live like a king. But it says Abadum, they slaved them. Good. Therefore, you are a strange land. One. Second, Abadum, they're going to slave them, and they're going to enslave them, and then, therefore, you could be a slave, but you could have a normal life. They oppress them. They make them suffer. There were 3 things that HaKadosh Baruch Hu said is going to happen to Avraham to Gal Israel. First, they're going to be in a strange land. 1. Second, they're going to be slave. Then they're going to suffer. Now, when HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to undo, which one comes first? The first one or the third one? Obviously, the third one. The Hashem says, Pasuk Vav, Lachen emor Israel, tell Israel, Ani Hashem, Hoseti etchem b'tachat sivlot Mitzrayim, that's inuotam. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, they're going to suffer, I'm going to take you from the burden of the suffering of Mitzrayim. Then, V'avadum, second one was, they enslaved them, V'isat etchem avodatam. I will rescue you from slavery. And then he says that they're going to be in land that doesn't belong to them. I'm going to redeem you from the land of stranger. Geula always means buying somebody, redeeming somebody. I redeem you from a strange land. Now, what's going to happen? I helped you out from a strange land. I helped you out from slavery, from the affliction and pain. Now you could go on go for yourself. And that is 3 blessings right now. But 4th blessing comes. I will take you as a nation. That's the 4th blessing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives him. And I will be God for you. That's 4 cups of Pesach. 4 leshonot of Geula is here. V'datem ki ani Hashem, and you should know that I'm God, that I took you out from the burden of Mitzrayim. V'heveti etchem, some put the chos for Eliyahu. This is the chos for Eliyahu. V'heveti etchem le'aretz, I will bring you to Aretz. That I swear. Now, I lifted up my hand means I swear. I swear to give this land to the Latir Tola Avraham Yaakov. I give you Morasha as the heritage. Ani Hashem. Daber Moshe, and Moshe spoke accordingly to Bnei Israel. Therefore, this is the best offer in the world. The greatest contract in the world is signed here. A World Trade Center, Zichronah Livracha, the greatest contract was signed there. But this is the greatest contract of mankind. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling this nation, for Lashonot Geula and Morasha, I will make you heritage of being my nation, Ani Hashem, and I will be your God. That's the greatest offer in the history of mankind that was done to people. Now listen to this. Now, the greatest offer comes to a person has to jump, has to welcome it, has to grab it. They didn't listen to Moshe from the shortness of breath, from a hard word. Very interesting. First of all, Torah is teaching us, you buy the best gift, you do the best, and offer it home. If home is a place full of pressure, if home has short breathing, and there is a lot of pressure at that house, at home, the best offer doesn't work. The best offer is in vain, because it's not going to be accepted. Therefore, Taka, the best thing, in reality, the best thing is to make home free of pressure. In other words, Torah is teaching us here, HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the best offer to Kahal Israel. And Kahal Israel were under pressure, and they didn't accept it. Why? Because of the pressure, hard word. Therefore, that teaches us, you make the best offer at home, best gift, best offer to somebody. As long as that person is not in a serenity, good state of mind, he has a lot of pressure, he cannot accept it. But now it's very interesting that the Midrash says, why didn't they accept? HaKadosh Baruch Hu made such a beautiful offer. The Midrash says they didn't accept because they were adukin ba'avodah zarah. What does it mean, adukin ba'avodah zarah? They were still attached to avodah zarah. They had the idol worship. They had some thoughts, some hirhurim, some very, very deep down intuition to go after avodah zarah. Therefore, that's why they didn't accept. Now it's very strange. Torah tells us they didn't accept because of the shortness of breath and avodah kasha. Midrash tells us they didn't accept because of avodah zarah. Now which one is right? Torah is saying one reason, Midrash is saying different reason. So the point is like this. One is revealing on the other one. In other words, Torah is telling us the fact that they didn't accept. Why? Because of the pressure. But what did pressure do to them? Pressure made them to be attached to avodah zarah, not to leave avodah zarah. Once a person is in a state of pressure, he goes to avodah zarah. Somebody is a pressure for parnasa or something. We say, tell him, you can't sell this. It's avodah zarah. You are helping avodah zarah. So I'm pressure. If he takes it as if nothing is happening. Yeah, what? You are doing avodah zarah. Pressure makes a person to do the greatest avodah. Now, Torah is telling us unbelievable lesson of life. If you have idol, and pressure, which one is worse? Which one is worse? Torah is telling us pressure is worse. Because somebody has right state of mind, little by little, he would get to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Somebody who has emunah, but his life is full of pressure, he would lose his emunah. Therefore, that gives us very important insight in life. Somebody goes home and finds an idol at home, chas v'shalom. What would happen to him? He would be, his blood is boiling to destroy this idol. He wants to take it out. He wants to uproot the idol from home. Cannot have, my house cannot have idol. But what about if somebody goes home and he sees pressure at home? Oh, it's normal. Doesn't matter. Every home has pressure. Pressure doesn't matter. It's not normal. Torah is telling us, if a person sees pressure at home, you have to uproot pressure from home, even in a greater scale than avodah zarah. Because what pressure does to a person, avodah zarah doesn't do. Pressure destroys a person. Pressure makes a person to do the greatest avodah in Torah. The greatest. Not understanding his wife, not understanding children, not understanding any principle in life. Person could step any principle in life. That's the point of Torah. Torah is pointing out what pressure does to a person.
But pressure also refers to tension, right? There's a tense military atmosphere.
Right, of course. Home has to be serenity. Now, how should we create that? We have to have a special budget for buying pressure. No matter how much money you pay to buy a pressure from home, you bought it very cheap. Because no matter how much you pay money to take away pressure from home, you did a good deal. It's a good deal. Because what pressure damages home is much greater. Then the other thing is, some of the pressures are home because of lack of communication. If you communicate and you talk about something and you put people on the page, it wouldn't be pressure. And a lot of times pressure is because we don't take care of something. I remember the story that we had in Iran in the book, in literature, that somebody has a sand in his foot, in his shoes, and he was walking. And, he could have 1 minute take off the shoe and take out the sand from his shoes and walk normally with comfort and everything. But he didn't do it. He let the sand pressure him. And he was so frustrated. After hours, then he got to the point and he took the shoes and threw it away with full frustrations. Therefore, a little bit pressure, what it does to a person. A lot of times, take care of it. Don't let it be there. Another thing good about pressure, sometimes the person says, this is not a great pressure, it's just a little bit pressure. But we have expression in Persian says, qatre qatre jam shavad, wangai darya shavad. Little by little becomes a mountain. Therefore, here also pressure, little bit pressure of this, little bit pressure of that, little pressure of that makes a lot of times, Rav Wolbe talks about when the children are very small, how could the husband help chinuch habani? How does the husband help? Rav Wolbe says he could do the greatest help. What could he do? Do some jobs for the wife, create serenity at home, that the wife should have a good mood with the children. That's the greatest gift that you could give to your children. In other words, sometimes you see in families, there is an external reason, not really very crucial external reason, is putting the family a lot of pressure, and the children are not behaving, the home is not functioning normal, and everything is happening because of external reason. And that's called stupidity. Because why? The most important thing of a person is to take care of the children, to have serenity at home. You shouldn't let external things to come so much to destroy home because of external things. It doesn't make sense, but it happens. Therefore, all these things Torah is addressing over here, we have to get rid of pressure. Now, there is a movement in Kahal Israel. There is a movement in Yetziat Mitzrayim. So far, Yetziat Mitzrayim was to take out Jews from Egypt. Now, Yetziat Mitzrayim has a different dimension. Hashem spoke to Moshe like this. Bo daber Paro. Come talk to Paro Melech Mitzrayim, the king of Egypt. Vishalach et bnei Israel marzo. Now, Paro should send his nation from his land. Therefore, we wanted to take out Kahal Israel. But Kahal Israel didn't listen. Now we're going to change the movement of Yetziat Mitzrayim. Yetziat Mitzrayim so far was to let Kahal Israel come out. Now we're going to tell Paro to send them out. Whoever understands Torah understands that changes all of the dimension, all of the insight of coming out. Now we are talking about different essence of coming out. Now that coming out is gone. Now it's a new dimension of coming out. And of course, much weaker. It would have been much better that Kahal Israel would come out. Now Paro is sending them out. Now by that Moshe Hashem lemor. Hashem Moshe said for Hashem lemor Bnei Israel lo shamu elai. Bnei Israel didn't listen to me. Ve'chishmayim Paro. And how Paro would listen to me? V'ani aras sefatayim. And I am concealed with my lips. I cannot talk well. See, Moshe Rabbeinu was not something that just, started a little bit. No. The words that came out, only Aharon understood what the word means. Nobody could understand. And he says, I can't do it. Now, Rashi says, Rashi, you'd bet. There are 10 Qalbachom in Torah, is one of them. That he says that was for the benefit of Kahal Israel. They didn't listen. How could Paro listen? No, by Taber Hashem Moshe Aharon. Hashem spoke to Moshe Aharon by Tzavim el Ben Israel, and he commanded them concerning Ben Israel and concerning Paro, Melech Mitzrayim, the king of Egypt, Lehotzi et Bnei Israel Mitzrayim, to take out Bnei Israel Mitzrayim. Hashem told them that you could do it. Now Torah interrupts the idea and goes to introduce who is this Moshe Aaron. Who is this Moshe Aaron? Ele Rashi Betavot. These are the heads of the houses of their fathers, Bnei Reuven, Bechor Israel. Now, Torah wants to talk about Moshe, he could go straight to Levi. But it doesn't go straight to Levi. Because if it goes straight to Levi, it sounds Levi is the Bechor. Now, I want to say that no, it starts from the Bechor till Levi, and all is covered of Moshe Aaron to explain who is Moshe Aaron. Bechor Israel, the firstborn of Israel, Chanoch, Ufalu, Cheson, Becharmi. These are the family of Reuven. Bnei Shimon, the children of Shimon, Yemuel, Yamin, Ahad, Be'achir, Be'sochar, Shaul ben Kenanit, Shaul the son of Kenanit, that's the daughter of son of Dinah. Ele Mishpechot Shimon, Ve'ele Shemot b'nei Levi. These are the Shemot b'nei Levi. For other ones, it says Ele Rashi. Here it says Ve'ele Shemot b'nei Levi. Who are the Shemot b'nei Levi for their birth? Gershon, Kehat, Merari. Levi had 3 children. Gershon, Kehat, Merari. Shelo HaKadosh says, from the name of the Bnei Levi, you see that Levi wasn't in Shibut. He wasn't in suffering of Gahar Israel, but he named the children in a way that he should participate in the suffering of Gahar Israel. He named the Gershon, Ger. We are in the land that doesn't belong to us. We are a stranger, and they are bothering us. Kehat. God means Keha. Keha et Shinav. They bothered us. They teeth or teeth. No, the C's are teeth. In other words, they made me kond kardan dandanهای ما رو. Gehat. As real suffering that they did. Merari comes from maror, that they made our life bitter. They will name the children in a way to participate in the. So from here we learn out that whenever Gahar Israel are suffering, we have to share suffering with them. Ushtei Chaye Levi, and the years of life of Levi, Sheva Ushrim Ma'achana, 137. Rashi says, Rashi Tetzayin, Lama Nimnu Shnotav Shel Levi, Pasuk Tetzayin Shel Chaye Levi. Why did Hashem said how long Levi lived? Lehudia Kama Yeshibut, to tell us how long was the Shibut. Shechol Zeman Sheikhad Nashivatim Chayam, Lo Yashibut. As long as one of the Shivatim, one of the children of Shivat Yaakov was alive, there wasn't slavery. Therefore, Shneimar Vayomot Yosef Becholecha, because the pastor says Yosef died and all of the brothers, and then he says Melech Hadash came and put the decrees. Now, why Levi? Levi prolonged his life more than everybody else. He lived longer than everybody else. Therefore, Torah says 137. We could figure out how many years was the Galut. Uvnei Merari and the children of Merari Machlu Moshi. These are the Mishpechot Levi returned for the birth. Vayikach Amram et Yocheved Dodatolo. Amram married Yocheved Dodatolo. Dodato. What does Yocheved Dodato means? Rashi. Yocheved Dodato Achat Avohi. Bat Levi Achot Kehat. He was the daughter of Levi, the brother of Kehat. Therefore, he got married to his aunt. Now, the question is, aunt is Asur. The person is not allowed to marry his aunt. Now, the question is, why did he marry his aunt? There are different midrashim. One midrash says, because he was older lady. Nobody wanted to marry her. And he felt so bad that his aunt staying without marriage. Nobody is marrying her. He went ahead and married her. And that's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave Amram, because he didn't go after beauty, after things like that. He went after, to make her happy. Now, the fact that he did such a noble act, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave him the Kehuna, Leviya, and Malchut. Hashem gave him everything. Now, the Dodato, even though that was Asur, but the time of Matan Torah before Matan Torah was Mutar, and he was able to marry. Ramban says, even though that the Avot kept Torah, they kept Torah only in Eretz Israel, not Chutz, because the real pshat of Torah is in Eretz Israel, and that was in Eretz Israel, that was in Mitzrayim. They were able to do it. Zohar HaKadosh says, as usual, something very interesting, that when Amram went and got married to Dodato, that is an act of Isur. Therefore, an act of Isur. Therefore, Satan, Yetzer Hara, right? Satan says, he's doing an act of Isur. Therefore, it is mine. He's mine. Therefore, he didn't come to bother. He didn't come to penetrate. He didn't come. Therefore, that's why it was possible for Amram and Yocheved to build up such a beautiful Toradic house. Because, in other words, the Midrash says, always HaKadosh Baruch Hu does that. For bringing Mashiach, we need a Sechatar. We make Satan to Mashiach that, to disturb him, to feel that, this is all of the Mashiach comes from the relationship that they are not so okay in the eyes of Torah. But that's the reasoning of Zohar. But anyway, he married to the Torah, Aharon, and he gave birth. She gave birth to him, Aharon Moshe, Mishnei Chayi Amram, and the life of Amram 137 years. Ubnei Ishar, Borach, Benefe Bezechri, Ubnei Uziel, the children of Uziel, Mishal, Safam, Tzri, Vaikach Aharon et Elisha Bat Aminadav. Aharon got married to Elisha Bat Aminadav, Achod Nachshon. Now, the Torah wants to tell us that the Aharon got mixed with Yehuda. Bat Aminadav got married to Elisha Bat Aminadav from Yehuda, Achod Nachshon. Now, Rashi, Achod Nachshon. Because Lamadu. Now, why does it have to say brother of Nachshon? If it is the daughter of Aminadav, we know as a fact that's the sister of Nachshon, because Nachshon is the son of Aminadav. From here we learn out that whenever that you want to get married to a girl, you have to check the brother. Therefore, if you are a brother, be a good brother for your sister, because people check on you to see whether the sister is a good sister or not. Now, and gave birth to Nadab Abihu, Nadab Tamar, Ubnei Korach, Asir Ghana, Abisab. Korach had 3 children, Asir Ghana, Abisab, and they are Sefer Tehillim. 10 people said Sefer Tehillim. 3 of them were the children of Korach that they said Maskil, Yedidut, and Shir. Asir Ghana, Abisab, that you see in Tehillim. Ele Mishpot Agorchi, the Mishpot Agorchi. Velasab ben Aaron, La Kachlo, Velasab ben Aaron, La Kachlo, ben Putiel. He took from the daughters of Putiel, Lo Leisha, Vaera de Pinchas, and give birth Pinchas. They are the leaders of the house of the Levi. Now, who is Benot Putiel? Rashi said the Benot Putiel. What's Putiel? Mizera itro shepitem agalim la'avodazara. In other words, this girl that Elazar got married had 2 yichus. Now, the father of his father, her father, the father of her father was from Yitro. That Pitem means Yitro was the one who developed Agalim, Egel for Avodazara, sheep for Avodazara, Umisa Yosef Shepit Yitro. Or the father of her mother was from Yosef. Now, what does Yosef have to do with Putiel? Shepit Yitro. That he fought, he challenged his Yetzer Hara. Therefore, here Torah is telling us that Aharon got mixed with the Yitro and with Yosef. We need the Kubach of Yitro because of the Pinchas. Yitro is from Esav. Pinchas got the sword to kill Zimri. Sword is from Esav. Therefore, we need the gene of Esav there. The gene of Esav came from Yitro, because Yitro is from Esav. And we need Mizera Yosef Shepit Pet Be'Yisro.
Yitro came from Esav.
Yitro is come from Esav. Therefore, here Elazar is getting married to a girl that this girl has a gene of Yitro, which is Esav. Therefore, it becomes Pinchas. And what did Pinchas do? He took the sword and killed the Zimri. Taking the sword is the Kubach of Esav. Kubach of Esav that came to the family from here. Who Aharon Moshe? These are the Aharon Moshe. Asher Amar Hashem Lahem Hashem told them. Hutzuet ben Israel, ben Israel. Israel Asivotam. Hey, Mamed Abnei Paro. These are people who speak to Paro Melech Israel. Hutzuet ben Israel, Israel. Who Moshe Aharon Moshe? Ahi Bayom Dibra Hashem Moshe ben Israel. The day that Hashem spoke to Moshe ben Israel. Vaida ben Hashem Moshe lemor Ani Hashem. Daber Paro Melech Israel. Tell Paro Israel. Because Ani Adover leGavad. Diber Dadoy tell you. Bayom Moshe ben Hashem. Hen Ani Ara Sefatayim. My lips are concealed. Very interesting. Why should Torah interrupt here to tell us the yichus of Moshe v'Aaron? Because so far HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe v'Aaron, go to Charisoi. Charisoi knew what's Moshe, the son of Amram. But when he told them go to Paro, naturally Moshe thought that is not rawi, befitting to go to an empire of the world to talk to him. Now, what did Hashem do right away? Told him it's yichus. Don't take your yichus. Don't diminish your yichus. You are the children of Avraham and Yocheved, such a Sadeket, such a Kedusha, such a Tahara. Now, whenever that we want to do a mission, we have to have a self-confidence about what we are doing. If we feel confident and we have self-confidence, then we could do it. They were here, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe, what are you thinking? See, that is the mentality that we have. A lot of times, when we see somebody, doesn't have Torah, doesn't have mitzvot, but he has a mansion, he has a prestige, he has a kavod, we give a lot of respect. We feel, wow, he's such a great person, he doesn't keep mitzvot, or he doesn't shomer Shabbat, shomer Torah, good. But somebody is shomer Torah, shomer mitzvot, is a tzaddik, and he's keeping Torah mitzvot, he doesn't have that much money, he doesn't have mansion, if you don't give him zero respect. Here, Torah is telling us this is wrong. Torah is implanting this idea that I want you to go to Paro. Moshe feels, who am I to go to Paro? Right away, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said the yichus of Moshe. You should know your yichus is, you are the son of Amram, you are of Yocheved, such a tzaddikim in the world. You should have a full confidence to go and to fight with the Paro. Now, Moshe Rabbeinu repeats a lot of times last week and this week Parashat that I cannot speak well. Ani aral sefatayim. Now the question is, why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu cure him? Cure him. Hashem does a lot of things. Rofei cholim. Now Ramban says Hashem didn't cure Moshe Rabbeinu because Moshe Rabbeinu didn't pray for it. Unbelievable Ramban. From here we learn out whatever that you want to do, you should pray for it. No, why didn't Moshe Rabbeinu pray for it? Let him pray for it. That he should be talking well. He's a leader of Klal Yisrael, he's a rabbi of Klal Yisrael. He wants to present HaKadosh Baruch Hu in front of Paro. It's very important to have power of speech. And he wants to relate Torah to Talmidim. The rabbi, sometimes the sugya are very complicated. He has to explain ketzot, something very deep to the students. And he needs the power of speech. No. Why didn't Moshe Rabbeinu daven, pray? The Roshim say Moshe Rabbeinu had a dilemma. Which one is better? Should I daven that I should have full power of speech and I should present Hashem well and I should be a good rabbi to convey the messages clearly, or I should keep this sign, the sign that I cannot speak well? Where did this sign come from? It came from a nest that Hashem did for him, because they put two trays in front of him and he wanted to get the jewel. The malach came and put his hand in the coal. He took a coal and put it on his tongue. Therefore, the fact that he cannot talk well is a sign of a miracle of HaKadosh Baruch Hu for him, to save him. Therefore, every second, every minute, that's a reminder that HaKadosh Baruch Hu saved my life. Now, which one is more important? Is it more important for our Rabbi Moshe Rabbeinu to be able to talk well, to be polished rabbi, to give a nice speech to everybody, to convey Torah, or is better for Moshe Rabbeinu to keep the sign and not to be so polished, and you shouldn't be able to talk so well? If somebody lives in Los Angeles, there is no question that you would paskin, you should be polished. Forget about the sign, forget about it. But Moshe Rabbeinu tells us, no, you are wrong. This is the wrong mentality. It's more important to have the sign of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's more important to be connected to Hashem. It's more important to have Yirat Hashem, to understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu, be with Hashem. This is more important. It's not important to be polished. If you have to pay a price, you have to diminish your Yirat Hashem. You have to give up your Yirat Hashem, connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in order to be polished, in order to be, to be more presentable. Of course, it's not worth it. But if a person could do it, that's a Kiddush Hashem, that's something. But the price, I pay my Yirat Hashem, I pay my connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for presence, for look. That's not right. What are we comparing with what? It doesn't come to scale. That's the point of Moshe Rabbeinu. Hashem told Moshe, see, today I made you a master over Paro. The word here is telling HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you should know you are master over Paro. No, you are a frum person, you keep Torah and mitzvot, and you see that majesty and the crown and the palace, and you feel nothing. He says, no, you should know you are a master over Paro. Aharon, your brother, would be your spokesman. You should speak whatever that I command you. Very interesting. In other words, we need Moshe Rabbeinu to be the vessel between Hashem and them. In other words, Hashem wouldn't tell Aaron to tell them. Moshe Rabbeinu has to come and say whatever that he has to say. And he would send Israel Marso. So right now we are dealing with Paro. We are not dealing with the Hal Israel themselves with Paro. And Hashem says, I harden the heart of Paro, and I will increase my signs and my wonders. Beres Mitzrayim. And Paro would not listen to you, and I will give my hand Mitzrayim, and I will take out my legends. In other words, HaKadosh Baruch Hu calls Hal Israel Sevotai. They are my legends. Midrash says, just like in the sky, there is a sun, there is moon, there are stars that are shining and bring out the majesty of Hashem. All Hal Israel are sun, moon, stars that are bringing the majesty of Hashem. Every Hal Israel is like a star, shining star. And if you take away one star, all of the space would fall, collapse. Every Jew, every neshama also is important. They are part of the legends of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Et ami ma'inashem el Israel me'Israim b'shvatim gedolim, with the great judgment. Ve'yadu Mitzrayim ki ani Hashem, that the Egyptians, that the king says, who is God? They're going to know ki ani Hashem, b'intoti yedadi, when I stretch my hand on Mitzrayim, and I will take out Israel, mitocham, from their midst. Now the HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes out Israel, mitocham, from their midst, from their tumah. In other words, once somebody said that it's very easy to take out Hal Israel from Galut, to take them to Israel, to take them from Galut, to put them to Israel. But it's a much harder job to take away the Galut from Hal Israel. Hal Israel, they could come to Israel with their Galut inside. Here it says, I will take you from the Tucham of the Tumah. Moshe Aaron, they did just like Hashem commanded them, can also do, but Moshe ben Shmonim Shana. Moshe was 80 years old, and Aaron ben Shalosh Shmonim Shana, 83, with Avraham el Paro, when they spoke to Paro. Now let's go back. Paro. Hashem says, I hardened the heart of Paro. Now the question is, if Hashem hardened the heart of Paro, then Paro should not be punished. Why is he punished? Hashem did it. Now Rashi says, Vani Akshe, Ma'acha Shirshia, Beitis Kenekti. Rashi doesn't say the question, he says the answer. Now the question is, how come Hashem hardened the heart of Paro and then Hashem would punish him? It's not his fault. Now Rashi says, after that was wicked and it was cruel in front of me, and I know as a fact that is not going to do teshuvah, complete teshuvah, as Hashem knows. Even if they do teshuvah because to stop the punishment, not to submit themselves to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Totally. It's better for me to make his heart hard, because I want to increase my signs with takiru atemet gebrati, and you should know my mind. This is the characteristics of Hashem. Maybe Puranud al-Umot, he brings the Puranud on the Rishaim, in order that the Hal Israel, they should hear and they're going to be scared. Hichrati goyim nashamu pinotam amarti achtiri oti tichi musar. I destroyed the goyim and I said, only I do that you should be afraid, you should learn to fear Hashem and to take musar. Nevertheless, for the first 5 ones, he didn't say Hashem made his heart hard. He did it himself. The first 5, he did it to himself. Hashem didn't do it to him. He did it to himself. But the second 5, Hashem worked. And therefore, Rashi is answering, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows that he's not going to Teshuvah Shlema. Therefore, Hashem does it. Rambam says different. Rambam says, it's impossible for a person to do so much sins that HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes away the Bechira from him to Teshuvah. That's a punishment. That's a punishment. That's a punishment. A person has a privilege to do teshuvah. That fact of doing teshuvah, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave it to him. Now a person could be so wicked, so cruel, do so many sins and chatoim and sins that Hashem takes away the opportunity of doing teshuvah, and that's a punishment in itself. That is a punishment. No, right. That happened to Paro. Now, it's very interesting that if a Rasha wants to daven or to bring a korban, we don't have such a thing that the Baruch Hu is stopping from bringing korban or davening. I don't know about this. They say zevach reshaim to'eva. The davening and praying of a Rasha is abomination. Hashem doesn't accept it. But it doesn't say that Hashem stop him. But when it comes to teshuvah, we see that the HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I will stop him from doing teshuvah. Now, Mefarshim say, what's the difference between teshuvah and tefillah? By tefillah, a Rasha wants to bring a korban, wants to daven. Hashem doesn't stop him from davening. He davens, but zevach reshaim to'eva. But when it comes to teshuvah, Rambam says a person could become such a big Rasha that the HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes away the opportunity of teshuvah. Parashim says, tefillah is a privilege. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gives privilege to people that they could talk to him and he would listen and he would do it. No, sometimes Hashem takes away the privilege. You daven, Hashem doesn't accept. He throws it on your face. But teshuvah is not a privilege. Teshuvah is the fact. Somebody, what does teshuvah mean? Somebody says, Hashem, I'm back. I want to come back to you. I want to be on your road. I want to be your friend. I don't want to do these wicked things anymore. I don't want it. I want to be with you. Once somebody comes to that state and said that, it's a fact. It has to work. Because he's back. He's back to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He is back. Therefore, the only way to take away that is Hashem should stop him from doing teshuvah. Unbelievable understanding about teshuvah. And what's the difference between teshuvah and tefillah? Tefillah is a privilege. Teshuvah is the fact. If somebody, Hitler, if at the end of his life says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm back, I want to be with you, or according to one man, the Paro, at the end of his life, he did teshuvah. He says, I'm back. I want to come back, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Once a person said that, he's back. Teshuvah helps. Any little bit of teshuvah, any bit of teshuvah helps. Therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Ramban, Malbim, and Ramban almost say this different errors. They say that sometimes you punish somebody. You tell somebody, don't put your hand in hot water. He puts and he burns. Don't put it, he does it again. Third time he does it. Fourth time you tell him, he doesn't want to listen to you, but his hand is so burnt that he doesn't have any power. Even if he wants to, he doesn't have the yechol, he doesn't have the capability of doing it, because his hand has got burned so much that he doesn't have the strength to put his hand in hot water. Therefore, he stops putting his hand in hot water. Why? Not because he wants to listen to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He cannot take the pain anymore. No, Hashem doesn't want that, because that's not teshuvah. If you are not doing it for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's not teshuvah. Therefore, Malbim says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the heart of Paro strong, not that he took away the bechira from him. He gave him strength that he should be able to undertake the pain. And if he wants not to do, it should be because he's submitting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not because of the pain. Therefore, Malbim has such an unbelievable yesod to understand what does it mean that the HaKadosh Baruch Hu hardened the heart of Paro. It wasn't hardening heart of Paro, taking away the bechira free choice from him. He had the free choice. Why do we need to harden his heart? To give him strength that he should be able to stand with the pain. That his stop should not be because he doesn't want to take the pain. Now, why does Torah tell us that Moshe is AD and Aaron is 83? See, Mefarshim say, those days, at this time also, the expand of life was 70 AD. Therefore, Moshe Rabbeinu was considered an old man. Especially Persians. They become to a certain age, they feel the life is over. We can't do anything, we can't accomplish something. Here, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying that Moshe started his mission while he was an old man. See, Moshe didn't have the power of speech, and he was a young man. In other words, leadership comes through power of speech and comes through ambition of a young man. Now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants to say that here the mission is not because of ambition of a man, and it's not power of speech, it's I'm doing it. And the other point, he wants to teach us that a lot of times in life, a person there, I could choose Shabbat there, but then your heart says, my life is past. I didn't do it for 40 years, for 50 years, for 55 years. Right? I should do it. Torah is saying, yes, you are wrong. You are wrong. Even you have 1 minute of life, improve yourself. 1 day of life, improve yourself. This is wrong. This is the wrong mentality. As long as, like the Mefarshim say, as long as the flame is there, let give light. As long as a person has life, it's very true even by Persians or by Frum people. A lot of times they became Frum 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and they got used to the style of doing something. Now they find out it's a better way of doing it. You could do it better. You could improve yourself. And you say, no, I got used to this. What does it mean? It doesn't mean to say that I didn't do it for many years. Why should I do now? Here, Torah says, whenever that you do it, it's fresh.
That is so important for them. How many years they're trying to make a score. The last one.
Okay. Yes, that's Rashi. Hashem spoke to Moshe Aaron like that. When Paro speaks to you, very interesting. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying that if Paro, somebody who denies HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he wants a mofet, he wants a wonder. In other words, to identify HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to get to know Hashem. Very interesting. In other words, we have a pasuk in Torah that Torah says somebody who rejects HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we have to show a wonder of Hashem to him. Now, what would you show? What would you do? What would you do? You have to show the greatest wonder that you have, greatest point, to prove to Baruch that HaKadosh Baruch Hu exists. You have one choice from all majesty of Hashem, all greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, all of the, sky, sun, moon, everything. You tell Aaron, take your staff, and throw it in front of Tanin, and it would be a serpent. Rashi says, Tanin Nachash. Last week, Parashat also, we had this, and Torah tells us that became Nachash. Now here, Nachash changed to Tanin. You have to understand why the Torah is Tanin. Moshe Aaron ke Paro v'yasuken, and he says 10 mofet, give a wonder, and they did it. Kashetzi v'Hashem, v'yashlech Aharon et Matehu. Aharon threw his Matehu lifnei Paro, in front of Paro v'nei v'yiletan, and became serpent. V'yirah gam Paro lecham nevshim. Paro said, what? He laughed at them. He said that zirem yaret kermun, right? You bring this, and v'yirah gam Paro lecham nevshim. Gam, v'yakra gam Paro. What's gam Paro? The Midrash says, who gam Paro? Also Paro. Him and his wife laughed. This is what? You do this. Even me as a lady could do something like that. Gam hem, also them. What's a gam? Also them. The Midrash says even kids did it. The magicians of Mitzrayim, with their lahad, lachash, with this whispering, they did that. And they threw their stuff. And they were Tananim. Now, Mefarshim say there was a very big difference between their Tananim and this Tananim. Now, they made Tananim, it wasn't real. It was just covering the eyes. Or it wasn't real. Even magician, but was not real. But Aharon, that he made the Tanin, was real. No, but the mate, the staff of Aharon, swallowed their staff. Now, Rashi, Aharon, after that, he turned to the mate, Balayit Kulan swallowed all of them. Nes betoch nes. In other words, if while they were Nachash, Tanin, serpent, they would swallow, okay, serpent, swallow, serpent. That's a very natural thing. But what did Hashem do? Hashem turned them to mate, and once it became a mate, then they swallow, and that was a much greater nes. By Chasdech Le Paro, Hashem heart strengthened the heart of Paro, actually the bear Moshe, just like Moshe said. Now the question is, why did it become Tanin rather than Nachash? Why Torah says Tanin rather than Nachash? It's very interesting, the Haftorah that we're going to read B'ezrat Hashem tomorrow. The Haftorah talks about Mitzrayim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Chaskel, Hashem says, Dabber, V'amarta ka amar Hashem Elokei, Hineni Alochi Paro. He says, I have a nevuah for you to go and tell Misraim. Ben Adam sim panecha al Paro melech Misraim. Put your face for Paro Misraim. Vehina ve'alav al Misraim kula. And bring a prophecy for him and for us. Daber v'amarta. Kamar Hashem. Elokei Hashem. Hineni alecha Paro melech Misraim. Now upon you melech Misraim. Hatanim hagadol harobes betoch ya'arav. In other words, Paro is called a sea monster. Tanim means Ashdaya Abi, sea monster. Hagadol, that's great sea monster. Harobes betoch Yorav, that crouches within Yorav rivers. In other words, we know that the Mitzrayim didn't have water. Paro was a very, very big thinker.
No rain.
He was no rain. Paro didn't have water, no rain. And Paro was a big thinker. What did he do? He took the Nilos, the Nile River, and he made it into network. Different canals, different places, and he brought water all over. Now, what he says, Asher Amar Li Yeori Va'ani Asetini. It's mine, the Yor is mine, it's my river, and I have made myself powerful. Everything is from me. Self-centered, self-ego is the one who made himself into Avodah Zarah. He said, everything that you have, all of existence from him. Therefore, it was called Tanim Hagadol Harobes Betoch Ya'arav. Tanim means sea monster. What does sea monster means? It's a monster that the power is in water. Through water and getting water into the Mitzrayim, because Mitzrayim doesn't have rain, he made himself into an idol. Therefore, Tanim is a metaphor for Paro, the power of Paro. Now, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says that you made yourself, in other words, put the stick, becomes a tanin, and then the tanin becomes a dry wood. What? You think all of this majesty, all of this greatness, Aniyasetini, you made it, that's your power, you made it. You are like a stick in my hand. All of your authority, everything that you have, you are a puppet in my hand. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling Paro. Therefore, Paro is saying, give me a mofet. What does mofet mean? He wants to know, everybody in his life, he wants to know, life, is this my malchut or is the malchut of Hashem? I'm doing it, I'm accomplishing it, I'm the one that I'm carrying the things. That's the mofet that he wants. What does Paro want? Who is in control? No, that's the best thing that was given to Paro. Right message, right point, that you are making yourself to a sea monster. You feel that you are giving water, you and your leave as I made it. You should know that your turn to stick in the hand of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Everything is in the hand of Hashem. The authority belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That was the greatest message to Paro. But Paro didn't listen. Hashem told Moshe, the heart of Paro is stubborn. He doesn't send. Go to Paro in the morning. He would go out to water. Now, why does he go out to water? Rashi. He goes to water for going to bathroom. Because he made himself, he made himself like an idol. He made himself to an idol. Now, becoming an idol, all of the function of humanity he could do. He could eat, he could go to sleep, he could do everything. But the one thing he couldn't do and say, I'm a god. Why? Going to bathroom. Every morning he would go to Nilos, and now HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Moshe, go and catch him. Tell him that you could fool everybody, but you cannot fool me. Now the Gemara in Batra says, unbelievable Gemara. The Gemara says, why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu create a bathroom, system of bathroom? Imagine somebody comes from another planet and they don't have bathroom. And we have to explain to them what's bathroom about. It's so embarrassing, so embarrassing. No, the Gemara in Batra says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu saw the humans, and he saw a melech, a king of Israel, so arrogant, very arrogant. Hashem says, I create that system that people should not be arrogant. Taka Chafetz Chaim Mishnah Berurah says, in bathroom, it's also to think about Divrei Torah. We're not allowed to think about Divrei Torah. But the person should think in the bathroom how low a person is, how low a person could be. No? This is the thing that the person needs. Therefore, how could be arrogant? How do you feel that you are a big shot, big things? This is the kebab. That's one of the needs that the person has. Therefore, Paro had to cover that, and Moshe Rabbeinu came and said, you fool everybody, you cannot fool me. When he stand in front of him, and that staff that turned to Nachash should be in your hand. In other words, that stick that told him that what? The authority is not by you, the authority is by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tell him, Hashem the God of Jews, send it Shlachani, Elecha, send me to you, Lemor saying, Shalach et ami, send my Abduni, Bamidbar, that they should serve me in the Midbar, in the wilderness, until here you didn't listen. Come Hashem. Now, we are starting the 10 plagues that HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought to Mitzrayim. Now the question is, if you learn these 10 plagues with somebody, you go through the parasha with somebody for the first time. Imagine somebody, 35-year-old, 40-year-old, that's more mature. You go through the parasha, and then you ask him, what do you think about the parasha? He would say, probably, that I don't see any majesty of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Adrabah, just the opposite. We see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is being challenged here, right? Somebody is just from the childhood read the parasha, he thinks it's the majesty of Hashem. But if you, first time you read it, you are a mature person, you tell yourself, Hashem is being challenged here. Therefore, you don't see the greatness of Hashem. What's the greatness of Hashem? The greatness of Hashem is HaKadosh Baruch Hu is challenged for 10 times. What type of majesty is? No, the history says like this. Napoleon went to capture the world. Everybody was afraid of him. Nobody was there enough to go and fight with him. Russians went and they fought with him. And they got defeated. But in the history it says they won the war. Why? Because they proved to the rest of the world that Napoleon also you could fight with is challengeable. The fact that they made it challengeable, that in itself was a victory. Now here also you go through the parasha, you see that Paro is challenging Hashem. Therefore, what type of majesties? And all of the Rishonim say, well, Pesach, we talk about Sipur Yitzhak Mitzrayim, because that's the greatest of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's the majesty of Hashem. That's the greatest of Hashem. Now, Mefarshim say, really, 10 plagues were not for Mitzrayim. 10 plagues were for Kahal Israel, to educate them how to fight with Paro. What does Paro mean? Pera'ah, the source of evil, the source of bad. Now, all of these things that's happening in the parasha, Torah is teaching us how to fight with with Paro. This is not a fight between Paro and Hashem. It's a struggle within a person. The kovach of Moshe Rabbeinu of a person, good and evil. Kovach of Ra of a person, within a person. And a person is overcoming. Now we're going to see and talk about it, that there are 3 types of Avodah Zarah. One type of Avodah Zarah is that Hashem doesn't exist. The other one, Hashem exists, but it's so high. He got nothing to do with us. He doesn't supervise us. He doesn't care what I do, what I don't do, what I did, what type of word I use. Third one says there is Hashem, there is other kochot also. Now, these 10 makot are coming to reject all of these ideas and say there's only one HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now we start from the one. Ko Amar Hashem Beslote Bididase Kani Hashem. I'm the God. For the first group. First group said there is no God, it's Ani Hashem. I strike with the staff, on the water, in the river, and they're going to turn to blood. Now, what type of blood? Is it just looks like blood or real? The fish that's in the river, they're going to die. It's real. And it smells bad. It's the real blood. And the Mitzrayim would not be able to drink water in Hayor. Now, Rashi, Rashi Yud Zayin, Lefish en Geshamim Yordim Mitzrayim, Benilos Ole Mashke Ta'ares, Mitzrayim Ovdim Lenilos. The Mitzrayim, the Egyptians, they worship the Nilos as the idol, Lefikach Hilka et Yiratam, Barakah Hilka Otam. First Hashem plagued their Yiratam, the idol, and then themselves. Therefore, you see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu first punishes idol. Therefore, from here you learn out very important halacha in life. What do you learn? Learn like this. Anything that comes an idol, all of the economy depends on that. Everybody is depending on that. Everybody is forgetting HaKadosh Baruch Hu and going after that. Like Nilos. They felt that Nilos gives them their existence, and they were right. Because Now you should know that collapse is going to collapse. Anything in economy that everybody is depending on, World Trade Center, Pentagon, anything that people feel, that is the place that we could put our trust, you should know is a dangerous person, dangerous thing. Because here, your HaKadosh Baruch Hu is destroyed first. Vayomer Hashem said, El Moshe, Emor Aaron, tell Aaron, Qach Matecha, take your staff, Hunte Yadcha, and stretch your hand, Al Memem Mitzrayim, on the water of Mitzrayim, Al Naharotem, rivers, Yorehem, canals, Val Agmem, ponds, Val Kol Michwe, a gathering of water, you dam, and they're going to be done. Blood, Vayadam Bechol Mitzrayim, and there will be blood on all of the land of Mitzrayim, Ube'etziv Abanim, and the vessels, wooden vessels and stone vessels. Vayasuken, they did Moshe v'Aaron, Kashetzi v'Hashem, Vayorem b'Mateh, and lift up the staff, Vayachet hamayim, and the struck the water, Asher Bayor, in the eyes of Paro, in the Zabatav, it says, Vayahavchu kol hamayim, in other words, he didn't do it in a secret way, openly, in front of everybody, to show that there is no secret here. Vayahavchu kol hamayim, Asher Bayor Ladam, and they changed the water that was in the river to the blood, the Hadaga and the fish that was in the yor died, and the yor became spoiled, and they couldn't drink the water, and the blood was in Mitzrayim. The magicians of Mitzrayim, they did with their whispering, and heart of Paro strengthened. They didn't send to him. That's what Hashem says. He didn't put in his heart. A lot of times, HaKadosh Baruch Hu send messages for us that we should put in our heart. We don't put in our heart. And they dug Mitzrayim, the Egyptians, around the Yor. 7 days was over. Now, why did HaKadosh Baruch Hu tell Aharon to do it? Rashi, Emor el Aharon, Yutet, Pasuk Yutet, Lefi Shegin Ayor al Moshe, Kishnish al לתוכו לויקח לו על ידו לא בדם ולא בסברדיה ולא על ידי אהרון. Because water protected Moshe Rabbeinu when he was in the box, Hashem said that Moshe, you are not allowed to strike the water because water saved you. From here we learn out that Hakarat HaTov, somebody helps a person, or when something helps a person has to have, now the water doesn't understand, but the person has to make himself sensitive. Even toward the water, that should be sensitive by people also. Therefore, HaKadosh Baruch Hu did it. That was the first Makkah dam brought to them. Now, Vayomer Hashem el Moshe, Bo el Paro, come to Paro, V'amar to Elav, to Amar Hashem, Shalach et Amir v'yavduni. You should send my nation v'yavduni to them, v'imoyin ator shaliach, and if you refuse to send, Hino anochi, no gefet kol gevolecha b'savardea, I will strike all of your borders by frogs, v'shorat hayor sefardim, and the river would give out sefardim, frogs, v'alu ba'u bebetecha, and they're going to come up to betecha. Your house first, u'bechadar mishkavecha, and what do you think your house is safe? You're going to go inside rooms, your bedrooms, and the rooms that you sleep, v'al mitatecha, and your bed, u'bet avdecha, and the house of your servant, amecha. First from Paro, and then u'betanurcha mishtartecha, and your ovens and your kneading bowls. We are Perek Zayin, Pasuk Chaftet. Perek, we are studying Perek almost. Ubcha ba'amecha, to you and your nation, the Sephardim would go all over. Even Tanurim, they say, the Midrash says that Hananiah, Mishael, Azariah, when they wanted to go to Tanur because of the king wanted to kill them, they made the Qalbachome from Sephardia. They say frogs, they don't have sechar, they don't have reward, and they listen to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We have Bechira and would be rewarded, of course. Now, this two things came to show that I'm Hashem. Now the third one, there is no warning. Always works like that. We said that the first group came to show that Ani Hashem. Therefore, they hit the Yor that was their idol, to say that Hashem is greater than that. If the Yor gives you life, now gives you death, you have to understand it's not Yor that is doing it, somebody behind. Tanin becomes a staff, to show the authority is the staff in the hand of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That was the thing to be said to Paro. Now, after that, the third one, the kinim, there's no warning. Again, Aharon. Why Aharon? Rashi says Aharon because the earth helped Moshe to bury the Egyptian that he killed. Therefore, again, Hakaradatu. Vambatecha ala anarod, and the Naharu, the Arioni Bargamim, ועل سفردیم and the Sephardish got come Israel وید اهرانی دادو علم Israel و تر Sephardia and Sephardia came up okay that Sephardia came up و تیخ ستر Israel and covered the Israel now و تر Sephardia Rashi says Sephardia اخدایتا و یو مکینو تو و هی متز نخیریم now there was one and they hid him and became more and more. Now why is it like that? Now the Torah wants to teach us if we have a problem you have to solve the problem. If you strike the problem, one problem becomes two problems, three problems, four problems. Problem has to be solved. They did it. For me, I will send the nation. Be glorified over me. When should I daven for you? For your to eliminate the frogs. We make from you, from your house. In the year, they're going to remain. Paro is so frustrated, he should say right away. But he said, why did Moshe talking like that? Be glorified over me. Moshe Rabbeinu knows that right now would be stopped. He's playing around with me. He was ready to suffer even one more day. He didn't say right now, he said machar. Tomorrow. I guess what you say, man, Teda, Ken Kashem, Gelken, it's not like our God. We saw that Sephardim Mecha, this wine would go out from you from house, Babadam Mecha, Rabbayochan, Vayetze Moshe Aharon Meim, Vayetze Moshe Aharon Meim Parudent, Vayetzag Moshe Hashem, Moshe David to Hashem, as they were Sephardim on the concerning of the Sephardim, Asher Sam the Parud was a row, Vayas Hashem Kitvar Moshe, Hashem did as Moshe said, Vayamut as Sephardim, they died, Minabatim, Minachasrum, they died from the houses, from the courtyard, and from the fields. No, the Sephardim, they don't have any usage for Sephardim. What did Hashem do? Kept it there. And they gathered then into heaps and heaps, piles and piles. And the land was spoiled, not smelled. Paro saw that was a harvacha. He saw that there is a rescue, and he hardened his heart. And then he said, now we're going to go to the third one, which is the kinim. You should stretch your staff. You should strike the dust of the land. And should be lice. Why kinim? Because they didn't let them to do shower. And they did. And he struck the dust of the land. And became lice. The lice swarm. Adam and the animals could have kinim. One of the land was sliced before Israel. The magicians of Israel, they tried to get the kinim and they couldn't. Now Rashi says, because the shed would not be sholet on a creature less than barley. This is the finger of God. To strengthen the heart of Paro, they listen. Get up in the morning, he goes to the water. Send my nation and serve me. Because if you don't say my nation, I will send to you. You see, first you, then your servant, then Amecha, Ubatecha, your house, that Arov, wild beasts. Now the swarm of wild beasts, Umaru Bate, and they're going to fill up Bate Misraim, the house of Misraim, with Arov, this wild beast, became Hadam Hashem, and the land that was on it. Why they say the land was on it? Mivina said there is an animal, that an animal it moves with the land. Even that animal came. With the Adama that was. Even that animal came. All types of animal came. Now, this one is for second group. What does the second group say? Second group said there is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But Hashem is up there, height. Hashem doesn't have anything to do with us. Remember I told you a story from my Rosh Yeshiva that once there was a professor with my Rosh Yeshiva on Shabbat and there was a quadrant on the floor. And he told my Rosh Yeshiva, if I pick it up, if I pick it up, HaKadosh Baruch Hu would leave all of his majesty and everything would pay attention to me. What type of business is that? He says that you are much more, you are not a narrow-minded person. You are enlightened, you are much greater than these things. No, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is saying that I am above. I have supervision on the land. I will set apart. And that's the Eretz Goshen, Ashirami Omed Aleha, that my nation said, that the Arab should not go there. No, how is it possible? A lion would go here, would not go there. A lion would see Egyptians, he tears him apart. When he sees a Jew, he doesn't do anything. Leman Teda, in order to do, Ki ani Hashem beqerev haaretz. Because I'm the God in the midst of the land. Therefore, this group are coming to teach Chahal Israel that there's a supervision of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the midst of land. How does it show? Because wild animals, they come, and wild animals, they go into Goshen. They see a Jew, they don't do anything. They see Egyptians, they tear him apart. What's going on here? What's happening here?
What does the meaning of the name to the Jews?
V'samti fedut ben ami, and I will put the separation between my nation and America. Lemachar paru yehod as this sign would be. Vayas Hashem ken Hashem did. Vayav arov kaved, and came wild beasts kaved very heavy. Beta paru to avsa paru bavadav. Konetzem zayim shachet ares, and the land was destroyed. Mipeni ha'arov, from the wild beasts. Vayira paru el Moshe ve'Aaron. Said vayom lechu zivchu lehechem baaretz. Okay, Paro gives in. He says, Alechu, go and zivchu, slaughter for your God, ba'aretz. What does ba'aretz means? In the land. Now, from Paro, we see what's the etzav yetzer hara. Now, Paro has to give in. What does he do? He says, why do you want to go 3 days away? Be in Egyptians and do avodah. Bring the korban in Egypt. What does that mean? What does that mean? Why does Paro want that? Because Paro wants they should be like a goy to keep Torah and mitzvot. Be like Goyim. Why shouldn't you be separated from them? Why should you go 3 days away, be in the land and keep Torah and mitzvot? Any movement that says you could be like a Goy and keep a Torah and mitzvot is a etzav yetzer. No, if modern Orthodoxy is that was said 3,000 years ago by Paro. Therefore, Paro's idea was that you could slaughter, you could do, but do it in Mitzrayim. Be an Egyptian and be a Jew. What's the response of Moshe? Moshe, lo nachon la'asot ken. It's not proper to do that. Ki to avad Mitzrayim. It's the abomination of Mitzrayim. Nisbach la'Hashem Elokeinu. That we slaughter for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He nisbach to avad Mitzrayim le'nehem. No, we slaughter the abomination of Mitzrayim. Their eyes very strong. They're going to stone us. Journey of 3 days. We're going to go and go. No, why 3 days? Because 3 days is separation. Like we don't go 3 days without Torah. And we're going to start for Hashem. I will send you, go to Midbar. Don't go far away. Should daven for me also. I will go with Tarti El Hashem. I will daven for Hashem. And the wild beast would be removed from Parabata, Mamo, Machar tomorrow. But Paro should not continue to mock Levichaim, not to send the nation. This is Buvach Hashem. But Moshe mean Paro, and Vaera Hashem, I dove in the Baruch. Vayas Hashem, Kasher Moshe, Kidvar Moshe, as Vayasar Harov, and the wild beast was removed. Paro Mabada, from Paro Mamo, Lo Nisharecha, it didn't remain even one. Vayachbet Paro edibo, and Paro hardened his heart. Gam bepamaso inside. Velo shirach etam idensen. Vem Hashem Moshe boel Paro kam. Vedibar to elak. Kamar Hashem. Elokai Evrim. Shalach ami be'avduni. Send my nation to them. Ki ma'in atar shalach. If you would acham and still you are holding into them, in the yad Hashem hoye megnecha. The hand of Hashem would be in your livestock. Asher basadi in the field. Basusim horses, chamurim donkeys, camels, babakar cattle, son sheep. They were covered mode. It would be, they were epidemic, covered mode, very heavy. Ta'un. They were ta'un. V'ifla Hashem. Again, this one is what? To show there is a supervision of Hashem. Now, if there is a ta'un there, where is a disease? Comes all over, it's epidemic. How come it goes one place, doesn't go one place, gets one person, doesn't? It's contagious. If lo Hashem would set aside, would distinguish ben michne Israel, between livestock of Israel and ben michne Israel, v'lo yamod mikol ben Israel davar. That nobody, no animal would die from Israel. Hashem put the set time. Tomorrow Hashem would do this. Tomorrow, all of the livestock of Israel, Now, 2 was set for the second group. The third one, there is no warning. Hashem sent it. You should fill up your cupped hands of the piach kivshon, dude kivshon, suit of furnace, usraq bo Moshe hashamayma, and Moshe should throw it to Shamayim le'nei Paro. Therefore, you should fill up chofnechem piach kivshon, the dude furnace, kure, suit of furnace, and should do it. Vaya la'avach, and put the dust, al-kol Isra'im, all of the Isra'im, vaya al-adam val-behema, it should be al-adam val-behema, the shechin poreyach, for the boys of wrapping ababot into blisters, bechol Isra'im. They took the suit of the furnace, and Moshe threw it to Shamayim, and it was boils of blisters, wrapped in the Adam Abihima, and even the magician couldn't stand in front of Moshe because of the boils. Was got to them because the Shechin was Bechartum Mitzrayim, and Hashem strengthened the Lord of Paro. Hashem said to Moshe, now we're going to go to the third group. What are the third group? Third group, they say there is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and there is other forces also. There is Hashem and other forces. Hashem Moshe. Hashem told Moshe, get up in the morning, stand in front of Paro, tell him, Hashem said, like that, send my nation and to serve me. Because this time, I will send all of my plagues in your heart, to your servant, your people, in order that you should know that you should know there is no one like me in all of the world. That is for the third group. What the third group says, that there is Hashem and there is a natural power also. There is Teva, there is a natural power, there is the fire, there is water, there is everything has its own power. And all of them work together in a harmonious way. Not harmonious way, but all works together. No, Hashem says, how would you know that there is nobody like me? Now I will send my hand. I will striken. I could have striken you and your nation Badaber with the I could have striken you and the Badaber with the epidemic, with the ta'un, and you would have been destroyed from the land. Right? You should have, by the devil, I could have destroyed you. But because of this, I made you stand. I endure you. In order that I want to show you my power, my strength. In order that you should talk over my name, my fame, bechol haaretz. No, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu told him that I could have destroyed you by Daver, by the epidemic, by Ta'un. But I kept you, otcha mistolel ba'ami. You still capturing my nation, leviltish alecham, in order that you should not send them. Then mamtir ka'et machar, I will rain tomorrow, barat kabed meod, hail, very heavy one. Asher lo haya kamehu, that wasn't like this by Mitzrayim. Lemin hayomi vastav adata, from the time that was founded till now, that hail was not there. Now, what's so special about this? We're going to see. Va'ata. Now, shelach ha'ez et michnecha, send ha'ez, gather in your livestock. Whatever that you have in field, kol ha'adam va'behema, any people, or animal, that would be found in the field, and it wasn't gathered into the house, this hail would come down on it, and they're gonna die. Whoever feared from the word of Hashem, from the servants of Paro, he made flee his servants with livestock, somebody who didn't pay attention, didn't attend his heart to the word of Hashem, and he left his servants and his livestock in the field, then they're gonna be destroyed. Hashem told Moshe, there are 10 plagues. 3 of them came through offer, 3 of them came through water, 3 of them came through Shamayim. All 3 remnants from 3 remnants, and Makkah Bechol was a special one. And 3 of them came through Moshe, 3 of them came through Aharon, 3 of them came through Hashem, and 1 of them came through everybody. It was very interesting, the Makkah, the division of that, and each one of them, the purpose of it. There are a lot of mefarshim to explain each Makkah and Makkah. But the point of each Makkah, we're going to finish, I'm going to talk about it. This one is Moshe, it would be Hail Mitzrayim, on the human being, man, and the behemah, beast, and all of the grass on the side of Mitzrayim. Therefore it hits everybody, Adam, behemah, and plants. And Moshe stretched his hand, his staff to the Shamayim, towards Shamayim, al-Hashamayim. Hashem natan qolo dubarat. No, al-Hashamayim Rashi. Lesad Hashamayim. Umidash agadah hikbi agadosh baruch hu leMoshe lema'ala min Hashamayim. Hakadosh baruch hu told Moshe lema'ala min Hashamayim to teach him that, you are afraid of Mitzrayim, they are full of magicians, and they are using the kuchot of Shamayim. You should know you are above of it. With Torah mitzvot, you are above of it. Al-Hashamayim. Hashem natan qolo dubarat, and Hashem sent thunder and hail, v'tehalech esh arza, and Hashem sent fire down earthward, v'yamter Hashem barat, and Hashem rained hail al Yisrael. Now, what type of barat? Not regular barat. Vahi barat, and there was a hail, v'esh mitrachachat betoch barat. The fire was flaming inside of the hail. What's that, Rashi? Nes betoch nes. Rashi. It was a miracle in the miracle. Why? Hayesh v'abarad meuravin. Fire and hail, which is ice, v'abarad mayim hi. Now we know that mayim and fire, they can coexist together. Simultaneously, they cannot be together. Fire burns, fire evaporates water, and water burns, takes off the fire. To the will of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what they do, they make a peace between each other. Therefore, here, what did Hashem show? Hashem showed that the supreme over the nature. Because nature says fire and water can be together. HaKadosh Baruch Hu sent barat, which is fire, esh mitlakachat betoch barat. The fire flaming inside of the barat, hail, covered meod heavy, asher lo yakam meod, wasn't like that before Israel, me'az ha'itale go, from time that came Rishayin, vayach barat before Israel, and barat struck all Israel, kol asher basade, olav basade, me'adam ha'behema, human beings, man and behema, beast, et kol ese basade, everybody, Adam behema and ese basade, hika struck, habarat, ve'et kol ese basade shiber, and all of the trees of the sade smashed. Rach pe'eres Goshen, in the land of Goshen, Asher Sam ben Israel, lo ya barat basonad. Vayishtach Paro vayikra leMoshe u'Aharon. Therefore, that was the third group. The third group, they say, there is HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the world, and there is a natural power also. What did Hashem do? Hashem brought esh mitrakachat betoch habarat, the fire flaming in the midst of the barat, the hail, to show that HaKadosh Baruch Hu keeps ice and ash both together simultaneously, and they coexist together. Therefore, how could that happen? It has to be somebody that is above that. Somebody controls that. Therefore, that is for the third group. What does the third group say? Third group says there is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, but there is natural powers also in the world. Hashem says no. וישתח פרעה ויקרא למשה אהרון, ופרעה sinned ויקרא למשה אהרון, ויאמר עליהם חטאתי הפעם, I sinned this time. Hashem is tzaddik, Hashem is righteous, ואני עמי ברשעים, מעמדי רשעים. Chachamim says, רשעים ליבם מלא חרטה. Russia, his heart is full of regret. What does that mean? Russia, his heart is full of regret, but he doesn't put it in action. He just regrets to feel good and again to do the sin, because he doesn't have heart to do the sin again. He has to regret a little bit to put him a little bit back to the bone, right? Again, therefore, Reshaim libam male charata. A tzaddik, what does he do? He takes the charata to the action. Now, he regrets. Once he regrets from something wrong that he did, he puts in action to fix it up, to do something about it. A lot of times, there are a lot of regrets, that the regret is the chotzah, being rasha, being wicked, is yetzer hara. Because it makes you regret to feel bad, again get power to do it again. Because if you would feel bad, you wouldn't do it again. Regret makes you to do it again. Now that happens to Paro. More than enough has there been golot thunder of God. It's more than enough. We had enough. I will send you. And you wouldn't add any more. You want to continue to stand, remain. You're going to go. Moshe told him, when I go out of the city. Why? Because in the city is full of idols. I cannot daven here. From here we learn out, in a place that there's an idol, there's dirt, you cannot daven. Everyone said, Kapai, El Hashem. I will spread out my hands to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to Hashem. HaKolot yechdalun. The thunder would stop. V'habarad lo ye'od. And the barad would not be there. Leman teda, in order to Hashem haaretz. La Hashem haaretz. The earth belongs to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'ata v'abadecha, you and your servant. Yodati, I know, ki terem tir'un, that not yet are you fearful. I know, ki terem tir'un, mipenei Hashem Elokim. You are not fearful in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Therefore, when we learn this, and we say, oh, Paro is so stupid, after all of these things, still is not fearful. That's not the right way of learning Torah. When you learn this, a person has to identify this within himself. We see, if a person says, we learn the Parashat this week, and say, Paro is a stupid person, is a Rashi or no, we have to close the Chumash and go home, we are wasting our time. The right way of learning the Parashat is, you have to identify whatever that Paro says within yourself. It's a challenge that every Jew has. Every Jew, I know that not yet are you fearful. A person has much more room to be more fearful, much more room to fix up yourself, much more room to be fearful. Therefore, all of these things, Ramban says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't do it in every generation. He does it in one generation that they take lesson forever. Therefore, it's not a history to learn it and say, if a person goes to shul and say, okay, 10 makot came for Paro, do you know Paro was a stupid person? He was. Then we have to close the Chumash and go home. Every word of Torah in this parasha has to talk to a person, has to talk to you. You have to identify what Paro says within yourself, and through the makot to fix up a person himself. Person has to understand there is a lot of room to go. The flax and the barley nukata were struck ki hasora aviv, because barley was nearly ripe, and the flax was in stock. Therefore, since they were grown enough, therefore it was possible to be destroyed. They got destroyed. But the wheat and the spelt lonuku, they were not struck. Why? Because the late ripening are they are late ripening. Because the fact that they weren't ripe worked. In other words, a lot of times become ripe faster. In other words, Afilot Hena, Rashi says, Afilot, Rashi from Midrash, Pile Pilaod, Asalaim Shilolagu. In other words, a lot of times the person feels being ripe is the advantage. And you say, oh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, why did that happen? Didn't happen to me. Why didn't ripe? Now, Torah says, not get the wrong perspective through what you see. Now, life is not what you see. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is much greater than that. Those things that they were ripe, they got destroyed. Those things that they weren't ripe, they got saved. Torah goes out of his way to save, to understand advantage and disadvantage is by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not what a person sees with naked eye. Moshe went ben Paro to the city, out of the city, and he spread out his hands to Hashem. The thunder stopped. Very interesting. The hail and the rain lonitach. Yeah, in other words, usually you think that they stopped from the Shamayim. Therefore, whatever that was on the way got to the land. But it says now, lonitach arsa did not come down to the land. Even those that they were in the air, they didn't land in. Hashem even then, he put it, lonitach lo igia. Rashi, vafotan shayu ba'avir lo igia la'aretz. Even those, v'domelo. Okay, Vaera Paro ki khad al hamatar va Paro saw khad al hamatar seized the rain va habara the hail va hakolot and that's the story of life of a person. Person is under pressure. You know the story of the man went up from the very high tree to pick something, to pick a fruit, and he got there and he picked the fruit. The ladder was gone. I said, "Wow, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what should I do on the top of a tree? If you send me alive down, I give half of my property to you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu." And he was trembling and trembling. He came little bit, little. He came. Then he says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Thank you.
No, it wasn't so hard. I thought really I'm in danger. Half of my property is too much. I give 1/4 to give. Then he comes down. Hashem, well, it's not such a big job. Why was such a big deal? 10% of them. Miyat pa'intar, it goes down, and down. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hashem, I made it. No, I didn't need you really. I don't give anything. Yeah, that's the story of person. Hashem hardened his heart and his servants. So far we didn't have the servants. Hashem strengthened the Paro. Therefore, what do we see from the parasha? In other words, the parasha is a challenge between not HaKadosh Baruch Hu and Paro Chas v'Shalom. Hashem is not challengeable. The parasha is teaching us how to fight with Paro. Paro has his point. Now, in the next parasha, Paro says, what did Paro says? Paro says that I will let you go. But who should go? Only men should go. Of course, the men should go and pay the tax to Hashem and come back. The men, again, what does Paro want? All of the shurs to go, men are there. Where are the children? Where are the shur? Where are the children? Children being given to Paro, being given to Goyim. That's again point of Paro. Then Hashem, Moshe Rabbeinu said, no, we go, all of us, we have to go. Is it Chag of Hashem? We have to go, everybody. Then Paro said, everybody should go. But your livestock should stay here. Moses is Moses, business is business. Of course, you have to do business. Go and do business. Of course, you have to be Obed Hashem. Go to Shul and be Obed Hashem. But when you are in downtown is downtown. The rules of Mitzrayim are rules for business. You do economy, like we do. But of course, go and pay tax. Moshe Rabbeinu said, no. We take everything, even the Na'al Shirsus. In other words, everything of our life is with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That means being a Jew. All of the things. Now, why is it the majesty of Hashem? Why is it the greatest of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? We don't see the greatest of Hashem. Adrabah, we see Hashem is challengeable. Why is it that everybody says all of these things are greatest of Hashem? Because it's unbelievable yesod we learn from the parasha. If they ask you, what's the greatest of Hashem? Somebody says, we talk about space, all of the stars, all of the majesty of Hashem, the greatest. No, that's not the greatest of Hashem. Do you know what's the greatest of Hashem? The greatest of Hashem is when Hashem empowers you, gives you kovach, gives you strength through the reading the parasha that you could overcome Paro. This is the strength of Hashem. This is the majesty of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If we learn the parasha, we learn how to overcome Paro. There's a temptation to say Lashon Hara. We don't say. There's a temptation to get this money. This money is not kosher. There's a temptation to have an attitude. They say this attitude is kin'ah, it's jealousy. It's not right. It's not proper. I shouldn't do it. It's arrogancy. It's self-centered. I'm selfish. These are the majesties of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. All of this parashut is talking about the majesty of Hashem, because the real majesty of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not صبح تا شب آدم بشینه صبح تا شب بگه Hashem بزرگه, Hashem did this, Hashem did that, Hashem created this. It doesn't work anything. The greatest of HaKadosh Baruch Hu is empowering a person that should be able to overcome Paro, to be able to overcome Yetzer Hara. Person as a nisayon, as a test, if this parashut empowers him that he should overcome the test and nisayon, that's the greatest of Hashem. So Leil Pesach, that we talk about the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we talk about all of this nisim, we mean to say that these things should empower Kahal Israel to overcome Paro, because Paro is Pera'ah. That's the greatest of Hashem. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Chubi Dashte Bash.